Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Y'all are tuned into the world's greatest podcast. I know I said this multiple times, maybe countless times, depending on when you're listening to and when you're tuning into this, but I truly and honestly believe it. I can't lie. I feel like in my heart of heart, especially after everything I've been through this weekend, life is too short and too precious to lie. Straight up. That could be your last lie. That last thing you told, last lie. Can't do that. Can't live with that on my conscience. Like, damn, I could have just said what I need to say if that's the end of it. But you tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap podcast. I got a special guest. If you know, I don't like introducing people. I feel like I shortchange them. So I allow them the honor and the space for them to be able to tell y'all who exactly they are. So I'm going to let my friend, a special guest, introduce himself.
All right, yo.
Hi, guys.
I appreciate it, my brother. Yo, appreciate it, man. Terrell Jones, international business coach,
fire,
certified speaker, and particularly I appreciate you for bringing me through on a podcast. And it's a big deal, man. It really is, because right now it's a hot time for people to want to become entrepreneurs, want to become business owners. A lot of people are excited. Like back in the day, people weren't as excited to be entrepreneurs, business owners. It was like, oh, you can't get a job. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's now you got to try to sell some things. But today, our generation, millennial generation, and just more people, Gen X, whoever now is just more accepting, and more people want to be entrepreneurs and take back control of their life.
I love it. I love it.
That's what we're talking about today.
How'd you fall into that? Because there's layers to everything you said. First of all, you are a certified speaker, right? Mm-hmm. How do you get paid to do stuff like that?
Yeah, so good question. I really didn't even know I was going to do this, honestly. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was in a place to where, I'm from New York City, born, raised, from the Bronx, New York.
Snap.
I had no idea that I wanted to do this, but I ended up saying, you know what, I want to get out of the hood. I want to do something a little different. So I had a cousin who ended up going to college out in VA. Mm-hmm. And so I said, all right, cool. Let me get out of the state too, try something different, get out of this environment. Mm-hmm. So I went to college. That's when I really got my first introduction into business, started doing a network marketing company, made a couple dollars. And, I was in a place to where when I graduated, I was doing pretty good in my career. I was making six figures shortly after college.
Word?
But I said, you know what though? I said, I want to try something different. I said, I want to, I just felt this entrepreneurial spirit in me. So what I did was I said, well, it's less about the six figures, but it's more about, let me help students who are transitioning from college and get into their career. And literally that was my tagline, because I know a lot of my fraternity brothers, I know a lot of people that I knew around me, they would either not graduate, or if they graduated, they would be working at a Target or something. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't pay tens of thousands of dollars in college to do that. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, okay, well, let me take the knowledge that I know and show them how to get right so they can do what they need to do, graduate, and get into the career that they wanted to get into. So that's kind of how I started being able to monetize information that I know. So that started maybe about 5 years ago, and man, I haven't looked back since.
Man, I'm still on the fact that you said you made six figures right out of college. I don't even know what six figures look like. Right now, I don't even got a figure. But God willing, by this time next year, everything I'll double. But that's awesome, bro. So, wow, I don't even know where to start. That's really crazy. You said six figures. I'm all baffled up. That's crazy. So, network marketing. What was that? Why was that? How did that become?
Yeah. So for me, so when I first came to college, right? I was in a place to where, a lot of us, we have our moms, if we have our mom still in our life, if we blessed enough to have that, she was still providing me financially. But when I got to college and she started looking at them student loans, it was all right, listen, Terrell, college is very expensive, and I'm going to pay for your loans, but you got to figure out, how to pay your personal expenses, and I'm just going to start with your cell phone. Click. I'm like, what? My mother's a nice lady, church going lady, you know what I mean? But I had to it was at that moment that I had to realize, like, yo, I gotta find a way to make my bread on campus. So it was just at that time I had a friend who was like, yo, so you trying to make some extra bread? I'm like, yeah, what's good? He like, yo, I just joined this network marketing company. Yo, it's fire. It's called prepaid legal. Basically, it's just prepaid legal services. Instead of going to, you know, a firm or a lawyer and say, I pay you up front, this is a company that said, all right, cool, pay a little bit of bread consistently every month, and you have access to a certain amount of legal services. So I started doing that. And it started catching fire, you know what I mean? And literally, it was me, a couple other cats on campus who literally was making we're the top earners in that company on campus, like killing it, like making, I don't know, maybe like close to a stack a week, just like doing college. So that's when I really started learning more about personal development. I really started learning more about business. That was transitioning my mind from the hood to, oh, you know what? I like, if I put my mind to something, you know, and I can really do this. And so I started understanding about business more, and that's what that initially got the spark for me.
So is this like the You Should Be Here tools, the Amways, the Avons, the Mary Kays, the Forexes, huh? If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm one person that, because of the networks or because I'm mixy or because I have a lot of associations, people always try to recruit me, and for some odd reason it just never sat well with me, so I never did it. So like, what was the difference between what you were doing at that point and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, at that time I was still I was doing different jobs too, so it wasn't like that was the only thing that I was doing, but I got to a point to where I'm like, yo, this is working for me. And at the time, like, I really believed in the company, and it was something that I felt like people needed. You know what I mean? So, so it was something that I just pulled the trigger on. You know, my peoples was excited about it. I'm like, yo, let's do it. I was at a time where I was in need. I wanted to do something different, and I ran with it. So I mean, that it pretty much came at the right time is what made me start running with it. So it was at that point in time that I did it, but then that was during college. But then after college, I said, okay, boom, let me focus a little bit more on my career. And then it was a couple years after that was like, okay, you know what? I'm seeing too many people around me that's like falling off. And then that's when I said, you know what? Let me start helping college. Like, let me start really helping my people and saying, let me try to get them from college into going into their career. And that's when I wrote a book. That's when I did that's what I came out with. It wasn't really called master class at the time. It was called like online courses. It's still called online courses, but master class is a little bit more hot now. That's when I did that's when I started doing speeches for the first time, really like starting getting comfortable doing that. And, doing radios. I was on like morning shows. I was just going hard, just trying to get exposure to help college students.
And how important is exposure? Because right now we're in an era where everything's like clout. Everything's about looking lit, like Tekashi 6ix9ine and his whole situation.
Right. Yeah,
you talking about exposure? That
yeah.
Man is the number one hottest commodity. Him, Beyonce, Rihanna, the Kardashians.
Yeah. Yep.
So how important is exposure? And at what point did you come to recognize like maybe too much of it might have been thing, or at what point did you start feeling yourself potentially like getting burnt out?
Yeah.
Or making yourself more like overwhelming yourself, making you more available and stuff like that.
Got you. Yeah. So from two perspectives, I don't think there's a problem with getting too much exposure. I think if you have a good cause, I think if you got good values, get as much exposure as you want. I mean, it's over 7 billion people in this world, right? So get as much exposure as you want. But I think when you start getting to a point where you start compromising your values, when you get to a point where people start losing trust in you, and you're not putting out good information or good value into the world, then it's gonna backfire you. With you in a big way. And we already know, like with social media, Instagram, Facebook, how fast things go viral, that literally you can hurt your credibility or hurt your business or your life in some cases. So for me at the time it was like, okay, I want to get good credibility, but I was in a place where I was feeling conflicted because based on me coming from the hood, based on like even when I was in college, pop bottles, girls, what up? You know what I mean? Like I was in a place to where it was like, I'm still I still feel like if I put myself out there fully or get too much exposure, I feel like, yo, somebody's gonna be like, yo, I remember you from the block, yo, you did this, or oh, boom, this from college, and I felt like, yo, that was gonna hurt my credibility. So I had a fear of being judged at the time, which is why I didn't really go for it. You know what I mean? Like for my business, like, so I was putting myself out there, but I didn't really. You know what I mean? So, but I got to a place to where I just continue to educate myself. I just continue learning, continue reading books, continue getting around the right people. And then that's when I transitioned and then said, you know what? I really like business. So when I transitioned into doing business and I'm working with entrepreneurs and business owners, now the key with that, and kind of talk about the other thing you said, like with burnout, overwhelm, that's when I started learning more about, that's when I really started getting serious with my girl, and we, things of that nature, right? And then other things started coming, so, becoming a real adult, right? It made me realize how important it is to have, I don't like saying balance. What I like saying is rhythm. Right? So rhythm is more, balance is like, yo, I got to be working the same amount of time. I got to be putting in time on my business. I'm putting in time on my girl. I got to be putting in time on my family. Everything has to be balanced with my health. Rhythm is understanding that when you get into, when you get serious into your career or into your business, like, you got to understand everything's not always going to be balanced out all the time, but it has to work in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you're going to put more time working with your business. It's going to be times where you're going to take a week-long vacation with your girl or your spouse. You know what I mean? It's going to be time where, if you got a health issue, you got to go extra hard on health. But
so it's more like harmony. That's the word I'm hearing. So you're trying to find your harmony.
That's it. Make it work together. Yeah, that's what it is. If you think about it, if you perceive it in your mind like that, then you won't get overwhelmed. And that's how I got heavy into productivity. You know what I mean? And really start focusing on, okay, what do I need to do to actually not do busy work and just do things that make me feel good, or I look good to everybody that I'm putting in the work, but I'm not really getting the results and making an impact in the world that I want.
So how did you figure that out? Like, how did you get into that point that you was like, all right, all these things I'm doing is just not cutting it. So at this point, you're like, yo, I got to be more productive. I got to make things happen. How did you go about doing so? Yeah,
so I was at a point to where when I was helping the college students, like, I was making I wasn't really making as much of impact, any impact that I want. Like, it was only based on personal connections that I had that was like, oh, you speak on this? Okay, come on our college radio show or stuff like that. But I wasn't making money. You know what I mean? So I got to a point to where I'm like, yo, like, not even just helping college students, but I was like, I didn't even have the motivation to want to do business anymore because it was hard. You know what I mean? Just like anything, when things get too hard, it's like sometimes, like, you just like, is it worth it? But it was something like, yo, I can't give up. So what I did was I said, you know what? I'm gonna commit. Let me throw this last Hail Mary pass, and let me just, if I actually just put my mind to it, and I said, okay, let me be able to focus on what I need to do and to learn and educate myself about business, then I'm gonna make it to the next level. So what I mean to tell you, I spent thousands of dollars going to seminars, hiring coaches, reading books, taking online courses and master classes that's like $2,000-$3,000 a pop, traveling across country to sleep in hotels and go to weekend seminars to make connects. I was doing all of that, and I learned so much during that process. I said, you know what? I want to start helping entrepreneurs and business owners. And it was at that point that I transitioned and I started working with influencers and started working with business owners.
That's fire, because it's ironically, I feel that's a part of the process, right? And that's something I've been like hinting at for the last couple of episodes, like this whole concept of the process, and how with the process it's never easy, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of it all, you appreciate everything because of the process. Like, one of my friends I just got off the phone with was like, it humbled him what he's going through right now. Shout out to my bro Big Eli in Houston, in Dallas. It's like, well, this process is humbling. It's a humbling. It's like, I'm going through things. I'm working hard. I got to sleep in my car. But we make it look good though. So that's just what I want to highlight on. But so at this point, you already spent all this money in, and when did you start seeing results?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is like funny. So when I transitioned, right, I said, all right, I learned a lot. I learned about business, and I said I want to start helping entrepreneurs and business owners. Mind you, I'm at the point to where I just made this decision. So I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to be credible enough to even do this? You know what I mean? Like, what's going to make people want to listen to me? What's going to make, like, how am I actually going to grow this? So, one, I did have some credibility. I didn't know at the time, but I've already, made money before doing my college business, right? With the multi-level marketing. So I already had some information about business. So I know it was certain things in business that worked. And then plus from the additional things that I've learned from coaching and different things of that nature, I've already had some information. So I said, okay, well, with this knowledge, what can I do? So I started off working with people that I knew that already had businesses and they wanted to level up, right? And I started going to networking events. So I remember going to one of my early success stories is I went to this networking event. And I connected with this lady and she was like, Terrell, listen, I really need your help. She said, right now I'm a daycare owner and I have people who, work for me, employees, and but I can't afford to pay them. I can't afford to pay the rent. I need parents to bring their children into my daycare. So, I'm listening to them, ask some questions, and I say, wait a minute. I said, how are you marketing right now? She's like, well, I'm kind of talking to people here and there. And I said, okay. I said, you have employees, right? She said, well, yeah, I'm paying them hourly. I said, are they helping you market? She said, she said, no, they're not helping me market. I said, okay. I said, how much do you make per child that comes into your daycare? She said, about $175 a child per week. I said, okay. I said, how long do they stay with you on average? She said about 2 years. So I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna suggest something crazy to you. I said, when you go in tomorrow, talk to your employees, get them together and say, listen, I'm gonna continue paying you what I'm paying you on your base check, but I'm gonna allow you the opportunity to have unlimited income potential. I said, when you tell them that for every child that they bring in, you're gonna give them $175 off the rip. For them off the rip, like first week, you might have to come out your pocket a little bit for some cheese and crackers for the first week, you know what I'm saying? But pay them the $175. She was like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm gonna go out of business fast and I'm already going out of business.
Nah.
And I said, no, it's not. I said, think about it. You said they stay with you. The lifetime value of a client is $175 a week. I said, when you do the math, we did the math, came over to a little over 17,000. I said, so what you're doing is you're investing $175 to potentially, more than likely, get a client for 2 years and get 17,000. How often would you do that? You do that all day. She said, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. So she went from getting ready to close down one location to open it up 2 locations.
Fire.
So that's the power. And that was my early success story. And then it was from there, I just started helping other entrepreneurs, business owners. And then I transitioned to doing more influencer work and working specifically with coaches and speakers and, helping them change the world.
That's fire. So before we go forward, I want to hit on your book. So you say you wrote a book like early on in your life. What made you want to do that?
So I did. So my first book. My first book is called this was my college book, and so for this it was basically how to go from college into your career.
That's
right.
fire.
How to go and so the fastest way to win in college, right? And that was the tagline. So for me, that was like everything that I knew. I just threw it in a book. Right. So that was my first book that I put in, but it wasn't really structured. I had like typos and stuff, but the information is fire though. Right. So that was me just putting myself out there. After that, one of the things I started getting into productivity work, as I was mentioning earlier. So I wrote a little pocket planner to help you. And this is how, like earlier, it was like how, like without for overwhelming things of that nature, right? So initially I had a framework that allowed me to organize my life and organize my business so I could get things done more efficiently. When I put out this planner, the small version of it, it went bananas. Like people loved it. Like, yo, I need that. Right.
Word,
so I put out a mini version and I basically did it to test it to see what people loved. So then at that point, so now that was some years ago. So then, now I'm at a point to where when people are asking me about it, I said, you know what, let me create like a full deluxe version of it. And let me put that out and let me put my heart and my soul into making this planner. And let me make sure that everybody has an opportunity that, like, listen, if you want to get your life together, if you got a business or you're an entrepreneur and you either A, you struggling to get yourself motivated to get up and get things done, this is going to make it so easy and so structured for you to want to take action. Or B, if you're the type of person that's taking action, but like you just get so excited, you taking all these actions and you making a lot of mistakes, or you wasting a lot of energy and a lot of time, this is going to put you back on track and say, okay, boom, let me make sure that, you know, I follow the framework that's within this planner, because this is a different planner. Like, don't think of like this is like a Walmart or Target kind of planner. This is something that's literally, we got like assessments in there. We have a, you know, we have like specific targets. I don't even really like using goals like that. I like using targets, because when you have a target, it's something specific you want to accomplish. You know, it's intentional. It's intentional. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So that's what the planner is. And I could go more into it, but specifically that's what I have now when we right in the launch phase. So I mean,
congrats. And is this like a you thing, or is it you and your wife?
So this planner, the planner is for me right now. For her now, she'll get on board with it at some point, I'm sure. But this is a planner that I generated, and she did help me with some things with the concept, with the design, and things of that nature to make it look good. You know, because she's like more of the designer mind, right? So she helped me. So we got it looking fire with the marble edges, and it's looking, you know, it's very, it's very relevant. It's hot. I mean, from a design perspective, it's hot, but the content, it'll change your life. You know what I mean?
That's fire. I said it already. I'm going to get one. If I like it, I'm going to get a bunch for Christmas, and I'm going to send it to all my friends. And I'm going to try to see if we can figure out a way that we can help make it bigger, boom it, and let's eat. But that's beautiful. So I knew you because I knew your wife first. I knew her from mad years. Like, that was like my homie, big sister, like all the way through when we was in junior high school. How did you decide, like, how did you know you wanted to get married, and how did you know she was the one?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think I got that question asked when I got married on my wedding day. But literally, we met in college, and I was in a place to where, like I was saying, yo, popping bottle, you having
lit.
fun.
And
like,
you was a Sigma
lit.
too, right? You was Sigma.
So we had, you know what I'm saying? Now, I did that. No, I did grad chapter, but I was still on, I was still in I was taking graduate classes, you know what I mean? So I was still in the area, you know what I mean? So I was in a place to where I'm like, you know, when I met her initially, it was like, okay, let me fill her out, see what's good. And she played me. Like, initially, like how we met was we met like the China bus station, right? So there's a China bus that went from I went to Virginia State University, so it went from VSU and it went to like downtown thing, like Chinatown or something like that, right? So then so she walked from campus to the bus stop, which is like, I mean, it's like less than a mile, right? So she walked or whatever. So it was her friend, and she got there. And, you know, she says that when she got there, she wanted everybody to give her an applause because there's other people waiting for the bus to come, right? And because she walked. But so I was like the first person that she saw. And, so I started some conversation with her friend. And she's like, yeah, you know, we just walked that out. And I'm like, I mean, I do this all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing with doing this walk. So she got annoyed with me, right? She was like, oh, nah, he corny. So she left. She was tight. I wasn't giving her the energy she wanted, right? So she left. But you know, her friend stayed, so I'm laughing with her friend. We're like, yo, what up? So we laughing or whatever. So she looking, right? She acting like
steak as hell.
Right. She mad. We having mad fun. So then eventually she come back over. You know, we talking, having a good time, and then you know, I ended up giving her she ended up giving me her number. Now, I mean, how she says it is, she was afraid I was gonna call it on the spot. So she gave me the right number, right? So either way, so she gave it to me. So anyway, so for about a year after that, you know, we kind of been texting, going back and forth, and you know, and it was cool. Like it wasn't even nothing like, you know, nothing like that. Like I was trying to make it something more than what it was, but she was just kind of chilling. And the times that she did would come over to the crib or whatever, she would bring like her friends, and we would like drink, have fun. Anyway, it got to a point, you know, to where. You know, I started to get to know her more. She started to get to know me more. I'm like, yo, you know what? Like I can, like, it was just something different about her. You know what I mean? Just her love, her heart, how she cared for her family, and you know, she know how to cook different things. So I'm like, you know, I think this might go somewhere. You know what I mean? So it just went from that point, you know, to us. We ended up dating like a year later. You know, to, you know, just the natural progression of, you know, being in a relationship. I think it was a relationship for like maybe like, I want to say maybe maybe like 6 years.
You was in a relationship for 6 years?
Yeah, for like 5 to 6 years.
Why
yeah.
it took so long?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just be real. I was in a place to where, you know what I mean? Like I was still like I didn't really have a male role model that was able to show me like, yo, this is how you're supposed to treat a woman. This is like the steps you need to progress, to get married. You don't want to be, waiting that long. Gonna be so like looking back now, it's like, yeah, I should have did it sooner, but at the same time, though, I'm glad we went at the pace that was right for us and not try to rush it because other people around us thought that things should look different or things should be different. You know what I mean? And it was at the right pace, mostly because I was becoming a man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, we progressed from there.
So monogamy, how has that played a role in your progression and your successes?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what role has monogamy played?
Man, huge, man. Like, when I mean to tell you, huge, because, when you have an opportunity to put your focus and attention, on one woman, that it's so many other areas of your life that's affected. You know what I'm saying? Because now you have, now it's like, cool, like I know who I got to take care of. Like I don't have to worry about late night texts going back and forth. And be honest, like that takes a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of energy. I know, you know what I'm saying? When you're not like that, you know what I mean? So with that, now having, a woman that got my back, that's supportive of me, that's giving me ideas. Like, I don't care if it's the plan or whatever it is, like, it helps out in so many different ways. And, it allows me to be my best self. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I love it, man. I mean, it's way more than I thought. And I used to have the mindset that a lot of us have, which is, oh, I'm gonna feel trapped. And that's what's real, like was holding me back a lot of the times. Like, yo, I'm gonna feel trapped. I'm, be the only one. Like, that's like, yo, I don't know if I can do that. You know what I mean? And I have a lot of friends and people that I know that's like, that's what's stopping them because they feel like they losing a part. But when I mean to tell you that you got to get out of that mentality, you got to get into the mentality like, yo, this is the person I want to be with, and this person is going to help me get to that next level. And this person, like, and I feel so much love and so much joy. Like, you got to think about what's the bigger picture in life. You know what I mean? And once I started really understanding that and thinking about that, like, that's the only reason we get a chance to talk today. You know what I mean? So this is the reason that I get an opportunity to be able to say within the last 6 months, I coached and consulted over 350 entrepreneurs in more than 29 countries. You know what I mean? That's a chance I get to say that I got 3 books. I did, I got 3 online master classes. I got, I do speaking engagements at corporations, universities, nonprofits. Why? I got a coaching group. I do one-on-one and group coaching. Like, it's the reason why I have what I have today, and I'm more successful than I was, years ago when I first got started. Man, it's just the level of focus and support.
Man, this is great. If you're not rocking with this podcast, this is Talk Ain't Cheap podcast. You know how many gems you just dropped already?
Years of experience, bro. Years. I mean, just years of learning, man, and putting in the work. Really what it is.
That's facts, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know we've spoken a little bit about it, but it's like I'm in a space that I think I'm just trying to do what's called for me to do. And when I say that, it's like I feel like everyone has a calling, and I'm trying to maintain, or not even so much maintain, but walk through that calling. So I guess my question is, how did you know that this was your calling? Like, yeah, you did all the studying. Yeah, you spoke to all these people. Yeah, you were figuring out. But at what point did you know that this is really your calling? Everything that you're doing, everything, all the skills and all the talents you have, you're putting up together. At this point, did you realize, like, this is...
Man, that's such a great question, man, because that's a question about passion. You know what I mean? So for me, I knew it is because... like, I wake up thinking about it, you know what I mean? Like, I wake up seeing like how many people I can help. Like, this is things that, I do on my off time. Like, I tell people who like want to get into the work of either being a business person, entrepreneur, or they want to be like an influencer, or they want to be a paid speaker or a paid coach. Like, I always ask them certain questions I ask them and say, what do you talk about most of the time, like on your off time? Right. If I asked, the 5 closest people to you, what would they say that you talk most about? What do you read? What do you read about? what are you online, you Google searching most of the time? Like, I would ask certain questions like that to kind of see where the passion's at. And for me, it was like, yo, I'm always watching videos. I'm always reading. I'm always asking people about business. Like, literally, like the equipment that we have right here, I was asking you questions ahead of time. You know, like, my mind is always working like that. You know what I mean? I'm always looking to learn. And so for me, it's like a passion. And I think that's so important because when times get hard, and it will, it definitely will. Like, no matter what it is, it's going to happen. So the question is, what's going to keep you in it is if you're truly passionate about it. And I tell people, like, even for people who want to like come work with me, or they want me to consult them, or they want to be part of my group, like, I always say, it's two types of people I don't work with and I don't want to work with. Is the type of people who are just in it for the hustle, which means, yo, I'm broke, yo, I just need a couple quick dollars, yo, let me just do this real quick, because your heart is not in it. You know what I mean? And anytime you're doing something, your heart ain't in it, you're not gonna have longevity. You know what I mean? And then the second type of person is, you know, and it's not like it's bad. Sometimes you gotta make quick money, but not for the type of people I'm working with. And then the second type of person is, well, you know, I'm just doing this as a hobby, right? So, and if you're just doing it as a hobby, it's nice, it's okay. Everybody should have hobbies. But if you're talking about doing something that you're passionate about, and you want to make a legitimate business out of it, then you can't be a hobbyist. You know what I mean? You can't just do it whenever I feel like, oh, I feel good today, I'm gonna do it, or I'm tired today, I can't do it. Like, especially, like, you have obligations to do, and you gotta find a way to push through that. And I think the only way you're gonna do it is if you truly love what you do, you're obsessed with it, and you have a passion for it.
That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. I'm just taking it all in. I'm really thinking about it, because even myself, like, if I had to do an assessment like that, like, I think the things I do the most is I'll call random people, just check up on them. I watch a lot of interviews. Oh my God. I go through the Breakfast Club. I'll go anything with Rick Ross in it. I've probably already seen it. Anything with Wally in it, already seen it.
Yeah, I was just watching the joint with Rick Ross the other day when he got interviewed. I think Joe Budden.
Yeah,
Joe Budden podcast,
great episode. Love hearing the boss talk. Cause me and him got the same beard, but they call the beard the Clee now.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, y'all growing out that Clee? If you know, you know. But that's fire. So that's what I would say. Like, if I had to do an assessment of my life, a lot of things I talk about is business, music and culture, and anything entertainment related, as well as like uplifting people. And I think that's something that we kind of really touched about. Like you said, like, we talked about passion but not purpose. Like, what made you want to be the kind of person to uplift other people? Because you're not perfect. You're in a space that you say yourself, you're constantly still learning. So how do you, like, who are you to be this person, to be this audacious, to want to be like, I want to make other people better, when you yourself are flawed too? So like, that mentality, like, at what point did you come to terms with the fact that you wanted to be this person to uplift other people?
Yeah, I mean, really that came from, I think, when I was just younger. You know, I think for me, I was just in a place to where I always just loved learning in my life. And I love sharing the things that I've learned. Like, I was always just kind of like that kind of person. Always asked, like, my mother used to say, like, yo, you asked a million questions when you was little. And that was just me, just always, you know, being curious, wanting to learn about different things. And if I learned something, I'll be excited to tell somebody else about it. And then that reaction that people would get from me, you know, telling them something or sharing something with them that they didn't know, that I fed off of that energy. You know what I mean? That's why I have, like, naturally a lot of energy, and I'm enthusiastic about things. So I think it was just for that for me, and then it kind of just progressed as time went on, just wanting to help people. From organizations that I joined, from fraternities, like, help you got to bring, you know, new members in, right? And you got to help them with certain things. So it was like, for me, the more that I learned and the more that I started helping people, it was a reward for me. Like, yo, you helping, you putting out, but for me, it was the reward. Like, it was the recognition. It was me feeling good. It was me seeing their life change. It was me. So, and the more that I did that, it just kind of spawned from there. And, you know, so I got to a place to where, you know, a couple crazy individuals gave me a chance to work with them and to help them, and things worked from there, and you know, it just started clicking.
That's fire. That's fire. How do you gauge, like I said, you know, you said that you don't work with certain kind of people, yes, but like, how do you know that you're not giving the information to the wrong people?
How do I know I'm not giving the information to the wrong people?
It's like, if I got the keys, everybody, right, like, for example, I have a deli, right? So shout out to my queen, man. My mom doing big things. Shout out to Peace International Market, 3240 Richmond Terrace,
Come
Staten
support.
Island, New York, 10303.
Spend my money
in the
there, too.
harbor, on the cusp of the harbor, in Arlington. If you know, you know. Everybody just don't come over here. Everybody can't be butter. That's why we got margarine. And I can't believe it's not butter. If you know, you know. But how do you, like, I have a deli. I can't give anybody just that's interested in my business the keys to come inside my deli. I can't let everybody just work in that space. I can't let everybody in my house. I can't let everybody go through my kitchen. I can't let people use my bathroom. I can't let people take my car keys. How do you really know that you're not giving the wrong keys to the wrong person?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think, well, I give out a lot of information for free. So, like, you know, if you follow me, if you rock out with me on IG, I am Terrell Jones on IG, really on all platforms you want to find me. Like, for me, I give a lot of information and information that's personal development, and I talk a lot about business. And, you know, let's say if it's, for example, like I teach influence and you know, persuasion strategies and things of that nature. Right now, yeah, if somebody could get the strategies, get the keys, whether I'm giving them for free or whether they come in my program. Typically, they're not going to come in the program because I have a strict vetting process, and I can kind of tell if somebody's heart is really in it, or, you know, if they kind of just doing it because it's just the right time and something that they want to do, and they're not serious. But either way, even if it's somebody who came in or whether it's somebody that's free and they get the keys, I think for me is just the fact that I know that I'm giving out great value, and I think that you know, the values of a person is, I mean, it really don't matter what they get or it don't matter where they get it from, is that, you know, if that's the type of person that they are, they're going to find a way to still do what they do anyway. You know what I mean? So I think, like, let's say if it was influence strategies, right? Because I train on that. Like, in regards to, you want to build your business, you got to know how to market, you got to know how to persuade and influence people. Well, obviously, you could take those strategies and you could use that for evil, right? Or you could use that to hurt people or trick or manipulate somebody, right? Because it's that powerful. Now, for me, I think that, you know, yes, they can get that. And listen, it's going to come around back in some way. Like, I can't limit or stress myself out trying to control the world. I can't control social media. I can't, because if I limited or try to control where my information goes to, that's going to limit my impact and exposure, right, to somebody who really needed that information, because I'm worried about that person over there who had bad intentions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I say, I put it out. I put a lot of my information out there for free. If you like it, a lot of people come work with me personally. And for the people who want to take the information and do wrong things with it, you know, I mean, there's going to be repercussions for that. Not saying that it's going to be me, but I mean, that's just the way the world typically works. So I tend not to worry about that too much.
Oh, that's real. That's real. Okay. So what can you tell me about my business?
I mean, what you want to know?
I mean, you tell me. You've been watching, and I know you've been watching because you ask me questions. And anybody who usually, you know, someone's watching because they're asking. If they're not asking, then they're not concerned. Mm-hmm. So it's like I've seen you ask me a couple questions, whether it be in the store, whether it be on social media. What can you tell me about what you've been seeing thus far?
Man, I mean, I love what you're doing, man. I love that you empowering people. You know, I love it. I love what you're doing in regards to you doing things that you truly passionate about. What I love about you, and I'm watching too, and I have been watching, so I'm glad that you kind of noticed that. Every time, let's say I come in the store, like, if it's one thing I know, is that you tell almost everybody about things that you're doing. Right, you have I love the fact that you have like you're not like a surface level conversationalist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hate small talk.
And I love that, and I love the fact that when you talk to people, like, you remember things about them. You know what I mean? Like, you that kind of personal type of person. So I love that, and that's going to take you far, like really where you with where you want to go and what you're doing. Love what you're doing in regards to, like, you know, you're doing parties, like, you just doing things that you're passionate about, man. And that's really what I'm about, like, doing things that you love, doing things you're passionate about, doing things where you feel like, you know, it feels good to you. And that can always change down the road, but if it feels good to you right now, do it. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think you're on point, man. I love it. You're doing things that you love. Listen, you said you watch a ton of interviews and you're doing interviews. You know what I mean? Like, it's you on the right path. So, I mean, you doing it, man.
Thank you, bro. Listen, I just be trusting God, bro. Do you have, I mean, I guess I'm going to ask, do you have, but like, where's your source of your strength come from? Like, you know, they say, like, Samson in the Bible comes from his hair. You know, like, where is the source of, like, the things that really keep you, like, super hungry and super focused?
I think a couple different things. I mean, for me, One is spirituality. You know what I mean? Like my connection with God. I pray every day, every night, every meal. Me and my wife. Like I think staying connected. It really, no matter what you believe in, like long as you connected to something that's a higher power than you, I think is very key. So staying connected like that. My wife is she gives me a lot of strength during times where I'm just like everybody else. I got feelings just like everybody else. I'm down just like everybody else. You know what I mean? With different things that happen personally and in my business. But she's by my side, so that helps give me strength. Encouraging words. Just my massive, my like obsession with just learning. I think that really helps a lot. Like just learning. Like me, I watch a lot of interviews too. Read a lot of books, always just learning, trying, testing new things. And I think for me, it's like, okay, when things don't work, I do those things, those three things from learning, but then also too, like, I think if you're in a place to where you don't feel either as creative or you don't feel that level of motivation, like talk to people. I really think connecting with people makes a big difference. You know what I mean? And for me, I kind of think, and this is like, if you're listening to this, like this might be a good time to write this down because it's super key. So for me, there's three things that I think that's important that you should really connect with, like on a daily, if not on a weekly basis. Three types of people, right? Especially if you're in business. The first type of person I think you should connect with, and not necessarily in particular order, but first type of person I think you should connect with is your clients or your customers, right? Like you should be talking to them every day, right? Now, if you want to stay motivated, like these are the people that you help, and people that you love. I don't care if you got a restaurant and you want to just get that feedback from your client, your customers in your restaurant. I don't care if you're an influencer, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're an author, like, and the people who's consuming your content, you should stay connected with them. So you should always know what they're going through, what their fears are, what their dreams are, like what they want. That's going to be super key to helping you get juiced up. Cause like, yo, like I know I have what I can help them. So that juices me up. Right. So I stay connected to them every day. Second type is your peers, right? Other people who are like on your same level. Like I said, if you're a restaurant owner, or if you got a t-shirt brand or something, like find other creatives like you. Or if you do music, you know what I'm saying? Like find other artists, you know what I mean? Not just the people who are listening to the music, but find other people that's on your level and connecting and seeing what they're going through, see how they get through the issues that they get through. And that'll give you some additional perspective. And I think that'll really help and get you juiced. And then the third thing is somebody who's ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to look at them as a guru, you want to look at them as a mentor, as a coach, like somebody who's ahead of you and they got more experience than you, because that's going to allow you to be able to draw from those experiences and not have to go through those same exact failures that they went through. And that's going to give you the motivation to say, you know what? Like I know I can do this, because you can see the path ahead. A lot of time people get scared is because they don't know what the path ahead is going to look like. They feel like it's going to be too much risk. But if you can kind of like look into the future a little bit by getting different perspectives, that's going to help you out a lot.
Fire. It's fire. Thank you. A lot of gems. How do you deal with your mental health? Like where you at right now, black man like me? Mental health, creating family, the things that come up in life, the good, the bad, the uglies. Where are you at right now in terms of your mental health, and how have you been handling it?
From a mental health perspective, I feel good. I feel good from a perspective of, I'm learning that, everything, is not going to be perfect. I'm learning that, I think as long as you really get a chance to stay in a place to where you realizing what life is really about, and you don't get too consumed with the superficials of life. I mean, everybody want nice things, but I'm focusing more now on, like, when I first got started, I was like, I want to help people too, but like, you want to be able to make the money, you want to do all this, but like for me now it's more about joy. It's a lot about making sure that I'm taking time to not just go. We talked about overwhelm earlier, right? Instead of just like, every minute. Now I'm in a place where like, let me pull back and let me make sure, I'm taking a break, or like a mental break, or making sure I'm being intentional about the things. Like, what's really helping me? Patience. That's really what it comes down to. It comes down to patience. Like, so for me, my mental health has been a lot better now because of that patience factor. Instead of trying to rush and trying to get everything done, it's like, okay, let me take a step back and let me just be more patient with myself, because especially when we're young, we feel like, yo, we got to do everything now. And if you do that, it's very easy for you to get overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest key for me.
And how did you know, like, because now you back in New York. Mm-hmm. How did you know this is where you would want to be? Because I feel like as creatives, location and space plays a huge role in how you create. Like, there's only in certain spaces that certain creatives can function. Like, I do audio. That's like what I do, but I could do the visual. But I even told you, I'm like, we don't have to if we don't want to. Because that's the space I know I can thrive in the best. I don't sometimes like people seeing my facial expressions, or sometimes I don't want to look fly. I don't want to have a haircut. I don't want to look the same way. So how did you realize, like, what made you want to come back to New York as the space where you're functioning out of?
Yeah, I mean, for real, it was more of a decision that me and my wife made, right? And we was like, well, her grandmother passed away a couple years ago, and it was like, you know what? Right now, like, what's important to us, like, we really got to get back with family.
That's facts.
So, so she's from Staten Island, I'm from the Bronx. It was like, our family's in New York, like, so we got to get back. So, so we made that decision to come back, and it just so happened to be, we in the hottest city in the world. So, I mean, it's naturally a lot of opportunities, a lot of things to do. So, I mean, it kind of just worked from both perspectives. But yeah, I mean, that was really the deciding factor why we wanted to do that.
Now, where you at now in terms of the business, the brand, the marketing, the influencer? Oh, I really want to know about that, because some people call me a micro influencer, and I never thought of myself as one of those things, because I don't really think I influence as much as people give me credit for. I feel like I'm one of the people that just like, all right, I always say there's a difference between consumption and support. Support is like putting all your resources into something because you truly believe it. Even if it doesn't work, you just want to see it win somehow, some way, even if you don't benefit from it. Whereas consumption is like you create things, there's scarcity, and you feel it. And they consume it. They need it. I got it. You don't like me. You don't gotta like me. You don't gotta respect me. You don't gotta like my art. You don't gotta. But there's a void missing, and I'm just feeling it. So for me, that's how I always viewed it as. But a lot of people say there's people that also will classify me as a micro influencer.
Right.
Do you have any information? Not so much information, but any advice that you could give me so much on tapping into that more and understanding, like, the difference between a micro and a macro influencer?
Yeah. So yeah, great question. So I'll start with the second thing you said first. So the difference between a micro and a macro influencer or influencer is really just based on follow account, like influence. So typically a micro influencer is anybody who has less than 100,000 followers.
Okay.
But you still out, so I would be considered a micro influencer. You know what I mean? So with that, all that means is that you're not doing it on a major scale, but you still out, influencing or putting out, great information. And, you still influencing people to, to learn or to behave or to do certain things. That's all that really is. So for you, the question is, what's the best way? Is that kind of what you're asking? Like, so you said either fill a void, right? Or you said doing something basically because you want to see it win and support, right? So, I mean, I think you can do both. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I think you could be in a place to where if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're naturally going to find a void for it. You know what I mean? Like podcasts, putting out information, like this is a void. Yes, a lot of people that's doing it, but there's only people who want to learn specifically from you. You know what I'm saying? And like that's one of the things that I really work with a lot of entrepreneurs on, is that, like there's a lot of like information. There's a lot of people doing different things out there, but there's people who specifically want to learn from you, based on your swag, and that's how you already get an influence that you have, right? Like there's a lot of people promoting parties, a lot of people doing other things, but they want to rock with you because they feel your vibe, they like what you're about, like you're a good person, you know what I mean? Like they the party that you throw is lit. So it's like, I want to rock with you, and that's why people like rocking with me too. You know what I mean? It's just like, yo, I could learn business from, or I could learn speaking of culture from. You know what I mean? But I like you. I love the examples that you give. I love what you about. I love, I love the way you explain things. Like and all. I love your swag. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, you never know why somebody's gonna be attracted to you. But the goal is, to 100% be yourself and continue to, to push out that positive information. You'll be all right.
Fire. is there anything I can do for you that you feel like would be more of an asset to what you got going on?
I mean, just put out the podcast. I mean, I think that's great. Honestly, I'm humble. I'm humble, bro. I'm humble. Like, honestly, like, just do that. You know, I mean, we got the planners that's getting ready to drop.
I definitely need that before I go home, man.
Yo, so what we gonna do? So right now we in a pre-launch phase, right? Where we doing pre-orders right now. So the goal is we gonna drop it in the October. So the goal, so what we have is, and let me kind of explain. So for this, because we kind of went through a little bit earlier. So for the plan, it's called the Productive Lifestyle Planner. This planner is specifically designed to help you reach your goals faster. It's specifically designed to help you organize and assess your life and your business in a way to where it's going to help you accomplish the things you want to accomplish. So in this, as an overview, you have your targets, as I mentioned earlier, but then what most people don't think about is, okay, what are the major things I need to do to accomplish that target? I think a lot of people just have goals, and I'm like, all right, I have a goal. I want to reach this. One is not specific, and then they say, oh, I want to reach it, but they don't have a plan to get there. They don't have a business model to get there. You know what I mean? So
they don't have actionable steps.
They don't have actionable steps, right? But more from a perspective of like, what are the major milestones? Because any given project you want to accomplish, it could be like 100 different things you could do, and you could look at a list of 100 things and get overwhelmed. But when you say, all right, cool, what are the top 5 things I need to do, you know, in order to get that specific goal? Like, I can tell you right now, one of the things I would say for your podcast, look up, if you haven't done it already, look up what are the top 5 things that make some of the world's most successful and popular podcasts, and focus on those things. You know what I mean? So like, that's what I'm saying. So like, that's what the planner is going to help you do, is like figure out, okay, well, what are the best things I could do to accomplish this? Like, I don't care if you want to be a New York Times bestseller. I don't care if you want to be, you know, you want to be a successful artist, like whatever it is. So that's what the planner is going to do. And then we also focus on, okay, who do you need to reach out to today? One of the things that I despise is people who say that they self-made. For me, is because I feel like you can't get to anywhere by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I mean, I understand some people do it because it sounds good, but you know, but for me, like, I don't care if it's a customer who gave you that or a client who gave you that opportunity. It was like, yo, and they bought something from you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because who knows? Like, you say you buying planners for people, right?
Yeah, I want to.
Who knows? You know, who knows? Somebody might hear this this podcast, and then I can help them, and they going to do great things. Or you buy a planner for somebody, and then they take that planner and they run with it, and they, you know, they make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that they can't forget where they came from.
You know what I mean?
They gotta come visit you back in the neighborhood. Bless you. Pay their respects.
You know what I mean? So it's like. So,
yeah,
you know, but you feel what I'm saying? But so anyway, so I say that to say you got to reach out to other people. Other part of it is, okay, well, who you waiting on, and who you waiting on? Because you should be waiting on information, you know what I mean, from somebody that could get you to that next level. Priorities. So we said, what are your top 3 priorities that's going to help you get from, you know, point A to point B today? So basically, so we have, and there's a couple other things too, but we have like we have a page that fill us out, and you're gonna know exactly what you need to do today. Like, there's no questions asked. If you do this and you do this every day, I can virtually guarantee you're gonna accomplish your goals. But most people fall off because they're not consistent.
I feel that.
You know what I mean? So then that's that, and then we have a nightly assessment that basically you just, every evening you fill that out, and we got weekly and monthly views where you can fill that out, and you know what you accomplished for the week and for the month. So it's it's fire. I'm really excited. And I worked like 9+ months on this one planner. So
that's fire.
It's crazy.
You about to be doing this is your Beyonce performance right now. You know, because Beyonce be preparing like, I think it was like 4 to 6, 8 months.
Oh yeah.
Before she does like a major performance.
Yeah, for like 2 hours. Yeah. For a 2-hour performance. That's crazy. I think most people don't prepare like that. And if we did, I mean, you have a lot more people who would, you know, who would be where they want to be.
Definitely right. I had a really great question for you. And speaking of preparation, that's something I said I'm definitely gonna work towards. I've been one of them people that kind of just vibe off the interview, and I think sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Well, for the most part, I feel like I haven't had any misses yet, but I think that sometimes things get missed.
Right.
In the process, because I didn't probably take time to be like a way more intentional with questions. But I also feel like that kind of takes away from like how organic
the
things
organicness
are.
of it, yeah.
So he's like, so how do you remain organic without losing yourself? Like, just like through success, through your process, through it all. Like, how do you find that way to still remain your undeniable self?
Yeah, man. I think I mean, for me, trying not to be what's a good way? Sometimes I think overconsumption sometimes could kind of hurt you too. Like I said, that I learned a lot, but one of the things that hurt me early on was that I consumed so much that I would take on other people's personalities. Like that was so, like, say, like other speakers and stuff. So I think for me, like it was just a process of, you know, just being who I would normally be in a day to day. And just like my normal thoughts, my normal feelings, like try to bring as much as that I can out into whatever I'm doing. Obviously, you know, if you behave certain kind of ways and, you know, you at a job, you know, you curse a lot, like you gotta know how to, you know, conduct yourself in the environment that you're in. But I think for me, like between organic is like being organic and being structured, like I mean, it's kind of hard, but you got to have both of it at some point. Like you got to have structure in order to, you know, move things forward in life. If not, you're going to be all over the place, going to be chaotic, and you're not really going to get to where you need to get to. But I think at the same time, you know, you got to find what works for you, whether it's creatively or you got to have a certain level of you know, like things that feel right, or like, you know, things that just work in your gut. You know what I mean? And you kind of just gotta roll with it. I mean, but that's a hard one. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know, but I know you gotta have, like, just try to be yourself at all times. And
I think I guess that's my question. I don't mean to cut you off. What was the process through your self awareness? Because I feel like that's what really makes you unique, and that's something I'm going through right now during my process. It's like understanding myself. Like I've been doing a lot of self assessments, like a lot. Like I said, my friend passed away. Like I had to celebrate a funeral. That was like the first funeral I ever been to that was that close to home. That's I'm in the repast, like chilling, laughing, making jokes. I'm about to turn around and be like, yo, you see this man up there? I couldn't even do that. I broke down, cried. People thought I was laughing. I was like, yo, that's craziness. Boogers it all. Like, right. I was good. I got through the funeral. I got through the wake. I got through everything. I got through the news. I got through everything. It was right when the last good moment, like when we started speaking about the good times. Yeah, I was a baby. It was bad. Okay. So my question is self-awareness, self-assessment. How should someone go about it, and what's that process really like? That self-awareness like factor.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great question. I think, you know, one, thank you educating yourself, obviously. You know, I think that's kind of like a given. So like, you know, just if you just got to do research, if you don't got money, you know, just watch videos on and just kind of learn about what you want to what you want to change about yourself. I think a lot of times some people do know the things that's going on with them, but they in denial. So with that self-assessment process, I think for one, I mean, you have to really come to terms with yourself, whether, you know, you got to write it down or whether you got to have that conversation with somebody. But I think a lot of times people, they try to sweep it under the rug with the things that they're going through instead of really addressing what the issue is. And with that, you know, talk to people, you know, taking assessments is kind of great. I'm heavy into assessments too, you know, so, you know, you could take a Myers-Briggs assessment or, you know, there's other assessments out there that you can take. But that's going to be super key for you really understanding who you are, you know, understanding what certain situations or certain things trigger you. You know, certain habits that you have, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. Certain ways that you may come across that you may not even know that you come across. So I think it's going to be a part of that is going to be educating yourself on, okay, well, what could my blind spots be? And talking to other people. Like, it's funny. Earlier this year, I did a survey on Facebook, and I said, and in my life and people that was close to me. And what I said was, I said, I'm curious. For anybody, you know, who knows me, either if I know you for a long time or even if you know me, you know, just briefly or for a short period of time, give me the top 3 things that you feel, what was it? You know, like what would be the top 3 words you would use to describe me? Like that was basically the question, right? And then I think some of the closest people I asked, I said, you know, what are the top 3 things you think I need to improve on, right? Like I asked my wife, a couple other people, right? So basically, I wanted to get kind of what people thought, and I specifically did that for a great awareness. So like that would be my challenge to anybody listening right now is ask the closest people to you right now, maybe the top 3 people that's around you, and say, you know, if you had to kind of, you know, describe me in 3 different words, like what would you say? You know what I mean? So some of the things I was getting is like, you know, determined, focused, funny, supportive, ambitious. Like I was getting certain things, right? But I would see, but also get them to say, well, if there was 3 things that, you know, that you would say I need to improve on, that's going to be key for, you know, for you being able to understand that, you know, because there was points, and I'm still not perfect with this. Like if you asked my wife that, like she would be like, yo, like, you know, even now, sometimes I've been putting in so much work and go overtime that I could kind of lose my rhythm a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still working on that, you know, but but I'm aware of it though. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I'm working on. So I think asking the people that's closest to you is a good starting place to figuring out how to improve and be more self-aware.
I ain't gonna lie, while you were saying that, I just went to Twitter, Facebook. I was like, listen here, describe me in 3 words. If I had to describe you in 3 words, intellectual, definitely, insightful, and innovative. Innovative, because it's different. It's different, and it's dope.
Yep.
Because everybody can't do what you do. Like one thing I started doing, I stopped doing is looking at other people's benchmarks. Because sometimes what happens, like you see the dude in the gym hitting like 4 plates, but you don't where he started off, when you started off 2 different places. So I stopped looking at people's benchmarks. Like I could only play the cards I'm dealt with. Anything outside of them cards have nothing to do with me. So that's one thing I did. But if anybody wanted to find you, if they wanted to join your class, where can they go? How can they go about doing so?
Yeah, so great way. So easy, you just find me on I'm on Instagram most of the time. So you can find me at IAM Terrell TERRELL Jones. That's on my Instagram, that's on my Facebook. If you wanna, I got YouTube videos. So that's actually Terrell Jones. But that's the best way. Or you can find me at www.terrell-jones.com and look me up there or shoot me an email, and we'll talk from there. Just let me know what you need.
And what could customers or anybody who invest their resources into your program expect to get out of it?
Yeah, so if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, I mean, if you in a place right now where you kind of just struggling, like let's say if you feel stagnant, you feel stuck, and you're like, oh, like I'm trying to figure out, how to get to the next level, whether that's, you're trying to figure out how to make money consistently, or if you're trying to figure out like what's this marketing thing look like, social media look like, how to build a brand. If you looking for that, then I can help you. Or if you might be an aspiring entrepreneur, like, yo, like I know I'm passionate about this, but I know I have experience in this. A lot of people I work with say I have experience in this. I've been teaching and doing this for 20 years, but now I want to do this as an entrepreneur, business owner. Like, I have no idea where to start. Like, do I need to get certified? Do I not need to get certified? Like, how do I kind of start putting myself out there in this world and start being able to build my name, build my brand, make money predictably? So if you in that place where you just feel like you need to go to your next level, then that's the place. If you want some of my personal development work, I do more personal development work for free online. I haven't created any programs for that yet, but a good place to start would be just follow me online, like listen to my stuff, and then also get the plan, because that's going to give you a good way to take yourself to the next level.
You said end of October?
End of October, correct.
I need one. I need one for myself before that. I ain't gonna lie. I need like that beta tested version. See what that like. But
I got you.
Definitely. I definitely know that's gonna be big. I'm excited to see it, and once it's out, I'm definitely gonna get it to some people, because I have a really good group of young people I would love for you to one day meet. They're called Big. I don't really speak about it often, but if you if you're in tune, Big is my financial group, my group of investors, my friends, innovators, investors, anybody who I've built with for years. This is since I want to say 2013, 14. maybe 15,
Right.
the latest. But yeah, no, this is like a group of my people, my networks from all over the country that I come and I sit with, I meet with, I build with, and we kind of just figure out ways to get ahead of the game, like financially, spiritually, physically, mentally. Like how we get up, how do we undo the baby boomer mistakes? How do we make sure that we don't got to deal with that? And how do we make sure that the Gen Xers don't have to deal with some of the problems that we deal with? But how do we also financially and creatively empower ourselves? Because I feel like that's something our parents lost.
Right.
That sense of, yeah, we gonna make this money, but that creative side, they lost it. Like you hear it when you see your mama singing in the bathroom or singing while you cleaning, but you like, why you never pursued it? I don't want to lose that.
That's a fact.
I don't lose that because I felt like then what tends to happen is it becomes a disconnect. So we kind of already started like building that relationship, building that foundation, building those connections to each other to understand that, yo, you have somebody to lean on. Because especially in a lot of spaces, what I've learned is as an innovator, as a creative, as somebody who's like sought after, there's not a lot of people around you that really understand the things you go through. And like people tend to only reach out to you when they need something, but never to really understand how you're actually doing. Right. So what tends to happen is that you start to like create sour fruit. I say like that seed is planted in you, and you start to only like grow and bloom things that are like kind of tainted, or like the things that you do is out of malice. Right. And like you succeed because you want to shit on people rather than actually like, want to actually win and help. And make everybody around you happy. You kind of like, yeah, I did it because y'all said I couldn't do it. Right. That's so, a fact. In due time. But I appreciate you. I know you got busy schedule. You got family to deal with. You got everything. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, brother.
All right. If is there anything else we ain't really any topics we got to hit? Anything you want to say?
I mean, I'll leave everybody with this parting thought. If you have something, in your life that you really want to do, and not even just one thing, but like anything in life that you really want to pursue, go for it. You know what I mean? Like I want you to this is a test that I put myself through, and I put myself through it's called the Meet with God test. And what this test is, it's just like a little thing that I do for myself, but I think this will really help everybody. And I say, at the end of my life, Lord willing, I get a chance to make it to an old age. One of my fears is that, when I get in front of God and he'll say, Terrell, I want you to sit down right here on this couch. And he's going to sit me down in front of this big screen. And he says, this is what your life could have looked like had you really went for it. And for me, I never want to live the regret with being old and saying, damn, like what could my life really have looked like? Have I given it my everything? And for me, like that's part of what drives me. It's part of what juices me. So what I would say is, there's things in life, whether you don't have 100% of the information or you're not sure, just like go for it. We have more time than we think, and we're smarter than we think to, adjust when things aren't working. So.
Man, that's immaculate. That's beautiful. Everybody, we're gonna do that for like November. Everyone gotta meet with God before Thanksgiving. That'll be fire. Meet with God challenge in November. Definitely gotta do that. But y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap. Thank you so much for rocking with us. I know it's a little while. It's not easy, bro. By the way, I want to tell everybody because I've done over like 100 shows now at this point. This is not easy. An hour of straight speaking is not an easy thing to do. So thank you once again. Like I really appreciate your time. Thank you for the gems. Y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap. Make sure y'all follow the network, Talk Ain't Cheap Network. Follow the brands at Please Don't Score Real Talk, Humble Fits, Peace International Market, Cine, Staten Island, New York. Man, if anything we touch turns to gold, platinum, water, juice, food, whatever it needs to be, we turn it into that. So thank you guys so much for your support. Y'all tune in to Talk Ain't Cheap. And remember, it's not that deep. It's a vibe.
Appreciate it.
100.